Hello, this is Sam from Twin Atlantic. I'm here at home in my studio. I'm going to try and do a talk through of the tracks on our new album, Transparency. This will not be seamless because I'm winging this. You don't really think about your own records like the way that you're asked to talk about the songs. But I'm going to try my best. Here we go. The album is Orange and White. But the first track is called Keep Your Head Up, and it's a bit of a kind of somber, introspective start to an album, especially when the 4 singles that we've released before the album comes out are really upbeat, high tempo and energetic. And this was kind of really on purpose from my side of things. I wanted to ground the whole thing as early as we could. And after this was actually probably, I think, one of the last songs written, if not the last song written for the record, with Jackknife Lee. And we kind of realised that the whole album had a bit of a thread of vulnerability. Even, the fact that some of the songs I'm making fun of a lot of things, really I'm making fun of myself. And that's been a bit of a kind of defense mechanism I've used over the years whenever I've got something I'm trying to process. So I felt like the album's called Transparency. Let's just start off as honest as we can with a song that, the meaning of the song's really obvious, that, everyone has tough times and you need other people to get you through. And I'd never really written a song about 2 guys talking to each other like that. It's always, any of our songs have been like relationship based between a man and a woman, or, if it was friendship based songs, they were always about the fun side of life, carefree partying and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm really proud of that one. The next song is One Man Party, which if you've been following this campaign so far, you'll be familiar with. We filmed the music video in Kelvin Grove Art Gallery. You should check that out. It still makes me laugh to this day. But yeah, this was just a song to make me feel good, to make you feel good. It's kind of it's definitely a throwback to elements of like kind of garage rock guitar stuff, and just one of the songs that is like a total free for all, fun, fast paced rock and roll song. The next song is Get Famous. I'm holding this to read the track listing, obviously, because I'm not that guy that memorizes things. But Get Famous was the first song written with Jackknife Lee during the first lockdown in 2020. And I think we both just needed like a moment of light amongst all the dark and the doom and gloom that was surrounding everyone's personal life, staying at home, and the worry about what the world was going to evolve into, or the debates that everyone were having about what was going on, and the politically charged environment that we were basically, for better or worse, living in daily. And yeah, Get Famous is basically the two of us reconnecting, and we were chatting about an Instagram account called Influencers in the Wild, and how it takes a meta look at people watching, and the fact that we all kind of take part in social media and taking selfies, but if you see anyone else doing it, it makes you cringe and die in the core of your human existence. And I just thought that was a really interesting kind of juxtapose of 2 ideas, but also, like, again, the best way to kind of talk about something sometimes is to make fun of it. So that's what that song's about. The next song is called Young. This is a song that existed before in a couple of different variations, but the one thing that really carried through, the 2 things really that carried through were Ross's bass part that he'd written. I think it was maybe one of his best bass lines that he's ever come up with in this band. We decided to rebuild the song around that, but keep the original sort of chorus melody. And once we kind of focused on that, the song became this big melodic journey of interweaving different melodies, and we tried to bring in a little bit of, we'd been interested in like kind of Japanese synth pop with the record before that we'd made, but we'd never really managed to like delve into it properly. And with the help of Jackknife, who's like way more expertise in that area that we do, and even the instruments and things like that he owns that he played on the record, yeah, we're really happy with how that one turned out. And it's there's something kind of melancholy about the message, but again, it's like an upbeat, fun sing along type song. That's followed by Haunt. Haunt is kind of a bit of a centerpiece of the record, I suppose. A lot of people see it as a kind of down moment, because it is slower and it's quite emotional. The sound at the beginning is the first time I heard my daughter's heartbeat. I kind of sneakily recorded that, and then at the very end, there's sounds of her like screaming and laughing and things like that, and that's sort of what the song's about, is like that journey. I won't ruin it. I'll let you kind of make it into your own thing, because it's an important song on the album. That's followed by Dance Like Your Mother, which, so I was working during the day a little bit, but mainly into like the early hours of the night or the morning, however you look at that. Because the time difference between Jackknife and I was 8 hours. He lives in Los Angeles. And I think what happened was we were sort of halfway through the process and we were meant to be working on another song, and whether we were both working too late or too early or doing it over the internet just kind of triggered this strange musical fever dream for Jackknife, where he had elements of this song appear in his head, and we kind of interrupted the whole process of what we were doing to chase this song down a rabbit hole. The two of us kind of agreed it would be cool to have a song that is basically, you establish a groove at the start, it doesn't change, you get to the end, and that was a kind of challenge for me personally, because we'd never really done that in Twin Atlantic yet, but now we have. So yeah, I really enjoy that one, because it was that different type of song after all these years. It's quite cool to kind of like tick that off. That's followed by a song, Dirty, which was another single from the record. We've had this song for a while, a long time. We just couldn't figure out the right place for it on an album or the right time to put it out. The fact that it can come after a song like Dance Like Your Mother, it started to make sense, because the song, again, is a total piss take of, I had kind of started saying that, oh, that's dirty, mate, that's so dirty. I was making fun of the word, but then it became part of my everyday sort of dialect lexicon. Distracted myself. Yeah, I mean, we made this in our old studio in Glasgow before lockdown, when we still had a studio. And I think it's one of the most fun experiences we've ever had, Ross and I, for definite, of making a song together, because every single lyric that we were coming up with just made us burst out laughing. Every little riff, every idea of picking up random bits of metal or whatever around the studio and playing it like an instrument to create all the percussion sounds. It's just such a joyous memory to have a song like that on a record. Yeah, so we love that one. That's followed by Bang on the Gong, which was the first piece of new music we put out for Transparency. We felt like it's a bit of a curveball for us, a bit of a curveball for what, we're always called like a rock band. But we just wanted to have fun. Do you know what I mean? We just wanted to have fun with this album, because again, it was made at a time where no one was having fun, really. So this was kind of our escape personally during the whole lockdown thing, was to have something that just made us laugh. When Jackknife and I were working remotely, we weren't ready to be making serious music, so like, Bang on the Gong is quite a silly thing to say. that is then followed by a song called It's Getting Dark, which has existed before in other forms, but it wasn't until we started diving into this record that it seemed like it was a song that I had kind of missed the point of when we originally wrote it, and I'd focused on the wrong things. But having someone like Jackknife kind of like pull through the weeds of it for me, and realise that, you know, It's Getting Dark is quite an interesting complex interesting idea, basically. And his take on the original song that we had was, you know, we've written a lot of love songs about the good things of love, or the very even the bad things are really simple concepts like missing someone. Whereas, you know, we're older now, we've got families, we're married. There's a more complex, developed understanding of love as it's not always going to be good. It's not always going to be easy. There's hard, difficult things to work through, but that's really what defines love in a way, in a real world sense. So we tried to kind of capture that in this song. I told you this wasn't going to be a perfect video. I'm trying my best because this is totally winging all this, but then we're at the final track. I have made it. Please be proud of me for doing this video. The last song is called Instigator. It's a song that we had pre-lockdown as well. We'd been working on in our studio in Glasgow in between kind of touring and releasing the last record, Power. And it was massive. It was maybe the biggest, you know, in terms of size of the recording and the production, things like that, it was as big as it could possibly be. But after working on this record and having time away from making, you know, things that are almost on the ridiculous scale of how big you can make something sound, we were obviously forced into making things smaller because I couldn't sing at full volume in lockdown. I was living in a flat, an old tenement flat. So we kind of took a different approach to the song and sort of reduced it all, redid the vocals at a lower octave. And I think it's just quite a cool message to finish an album on, you know, to give you something to believe in. Usually that would be seen as quite a kind of generic message, but I feel like after what everyone's gone through the last couple of years, especially in music, I mean, and where we're at personally, that with our lives, with the band, it's quite a kind of hopeful thing to finish on. So I like the kind of universal, open-ended message like that. But it's just quite rousing, and like musically at least, just kind of gets you hopefully excited to put the record back on from the beginning again. So there it is. I tried my best. That is Transparency's track list. Buy the album now. Listen to it. We'll see you soon. Take care.